what I want to do is take this TTESS rubric and go through it, thinking of the issues we're having at the school, which is our failure rate being so dramatically different with our virtual kids. So last year it was 3% overall, and now with the virtual kids, it's 6%. And then if you just look at the virtual kids themselves and look at their failure rate, it's like 13%. So it's massive. So while we're, thinking about our teaching as well, I thought we could go through, I've starred the ones that are affected, the kids are being affected rather than just our planning, because we know what our planning is. And then as you start thinking of what pops out to you, what might be something you would want to do, and then we'll make notes on here. I've already had some notes, and then we're going to continue adding to it, and then eventually come together and look at all of them and kind of think, maybe even as a math team, what might be some good ones with all of our ideas. So the first one that I wanted to look at was data and assessment, which we're really good in our math team with data and assessment. But before I go there, I need to compliment you. I think that you are doing an awesome job coming in the first year and just taking that position that needs to be filled for algebra, PAP algebra, because there's lots of few people that were doing that, and I'm so impressed with everything that you've done, and I think that people are just naturally coming in and they support you in every way, which is exciting, because that'll be great moving forward too. So that being said, I've already seen so many things that you've done that fall into these, accomplished categories. So I think this will be easy to go through. On this one, I'm just going to assume we're all proficient, and go ahead and look at accomplished and distinguished. Actually, even before we go there, I'd like to show you the very end. And this was interesting too. When you look at the examples of the rubric, the difference between the accomplished and the distinguished was that accomplished usually says regularly or most, and then the distinguished was all the time or consistently or always, which some of those are really hard to do. Like when you have to give kids choice, to have choice every single day, that's just a great example of one of those ones where it's really hard to jump from that accomplished to the distinguished. But yet, if we had the time, we would all want to do it and the kids would love it. But in reality, it may not be something that we can do. So we want to focus on what we can do. Back up to here. And if
you're looking at data assessment, right?
Huh?
Are you looking at data and assessment, right?
Yes. So data and assessment, first one that we're going to look at.
1.2, right?
Huh? This is 1.2.
Okay.
The teachers use formal and informal methods, which we're really good about in math. But then how's that going to look? I mean, we do that, but we still are having trouble. Mainly, I would think, in my opinion, with some of the informal assessment, getting them to talk. So if the difference between these two, it says consistent feedback to students' families. We do that. Analysis of student data, formal and informal assessments. I think that's the part that sticks out to me when you move over to accomplish. It says formal and informal assessments to monitor progress of all students and incorporate appropriate diagnostic, formative, and summative assessments into the lesson plans. I think even smaller than that, I have a hard time getting that just informal assessments. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit harder now that we're online, because most of my informal ones would be just like a thumbs up, thumbs down, like, hey, did you understand that? We can kind of do that with the Google Meets if they're not apps working, just like, hey, like, show me how many of you are understanding what I'm doing, just like thumbs up if you understand. I guess in now I'm just forgetting to do it because I want to make sure that I get everything done like online. I want to make sure they do their exit ticket. Oh, we are doing exit tickets, so that would be definitely an informal. It's quick. Do they understand it? But yeah, I don't do as much assessments. I mean, I guess the only one we do is exit tickets. Like, I think that's definitely an informal assessment, and we plan that every day.
Do you feel like during the lesson you have a good gauge, or do you think it's till the lesson?
No, other than the fact that I am calling on each individual student, and I can do that during my my kids that are in class. Like, I can go up the row and I can call them, each of them individually. So I try to make sure I hit every single person. Like, I've called on every single person.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my online, I tried to do that and they just wouldn't answer. They weren't there. It's too loud, so they can't put the microphone on to talk. So it's definitely harder. Yeah, I do a lot of cold calls for the kids that are in class for sure.
Yeah, me too. And I tried what Christine had talked about with the spinner, and that's how they engage. But again, trying to fit all that. Have you had any ideas that you've thought of that you want to do? I know, people have talked about doing jam boards or Pear Deck. Have you thought about any of those that you might want to do?
Specifically online or just like in my class?
Well, I think, the online kids are the ones where we're having trouble getting those assessments. You can't really see what they're on the other side. The ones in class, you can almost make them talk because you're right there and they feel like if you ask them. The other ones they just stay silent, like off.
Yeah. What about like I have tried the polls, like on Google Meets, the polls.
How do you do?
But I only did it with Pre-AP. And the only thing I was a little like hesitant about is the fact that it didn't tell me like who was answering what question. I don't know where to find that.
Oh, okay.
But I did like it because then they can see, but like not everybody, like the problem is there. Like, what if they're not there while you're doing it? Like, what if they're not on the Google Meets and you post a poll and then they don't answer right away? So they don't really get immediate feedback, But I do like the polls. I mean, I think it's definitely a great way to see like, hey, do you understand this? If it's just like a simple question, like
well, I wonder if we could try and research and find a poll that would actually be easy to incorporate into Canvas that we could get that data, like those names and that data. Because I noticed too with Google Meets, but the hard part is having to incorporate it and set it up. But if there's something we can find that's easy, so maybe that's something to write down is find a poll app, maybe. All right.
Yeah.
That might
be. Just so because like when I clicked on it and I like wrote a question like, and I think I had tried the breakout room. The poll was like, did you enjoy the breakout room? And I didn't know who was answering what question. It didn't say like, Ava answered yes, she likes the breakout rooms. And Andrew said he didn't, so I couldn't tell right away. So then it wasn't immediate feedback from me,
right?
So that I could be like, hey, Andrew, you said you're having trouble with this. What do you not understand about this? Like, that's what I need.
Mm-hmm. Well, the
online.
Go ahead.
I was going to say online, I can't tell who's struggling right away. When they're in person, I can tell because you can see like they're not doing the work, and I'm like, okay, that kid's struggling. Let me go see what they need. But online, there is no way to informally see who's struggling right then.
Well, okay, so I've heard about the breakout rooms, and I know Mark to do a PD about the breakout rooms as part of the quick talks or like the share thing. But I've noticed that you can't jump into every classroom, and then you don't see what the chat is whenever you go in there. So there's no way to really do it. My thought was, and tell me what you think about this, I found something similar to Jamboard. It's a whiteboard, it's called Whiteboard Chat, but you're able to see every single person's page at the same time, live. So you could give them a problem and then actually be able to write on just pairs while you're still in the meet and you can talk to everybody, or you could write on everybody's at the same time. Do you think that might be a good way to get that informal assessment?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Because like we're doing equations, and if I need to see if they're solving the equations, right, I could give them an equation, and then they be able to see. I could see right away, like who knows how to solve it. That
So
would be really cool.
yeah, I think so too. And this one seemed pretty simple. The problem is I know there's a bunch of other ones. I've heard Pear Deck is something that the district is considering.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but the thing is, it's hard. It does incorporate with Canvas, but it's set up a different way. I don't know. I think maybe we could play around and one person could out whiteboard and the other, but I think that being able to see everybody working at the same time could be beneficial.
Do they need like a touch screen in order to do this, or?
Well, most of the kids do have the touch screen. I think they're able to write. Let me show you real quick. I can go ahead and present it.
Okay.
Whiteboard chat. It's free. And here it is here. Actually, I think I shared, oh no, I shared the Cami with you. So this one here, I could share with you. It does have a video call feature, but I know the district does want to put, want us in Google Meets just for security reasons. But the thing I like about this a little bit easier than the Jam is you can actually upload a file. So you could put a PDF in here pretty easily, and then they can write on it. So I had one, I tried it earlier today, and I'm still learning all the buttons. Let's see here. I'm finding what I did. Now I messed up a little bit because I found out that if I wrote on mine, it wrote on everybody's. Seventh grade sample spaces. And then I could go to grid view and see everybody's stuff. If you see, when I started writing, I ended up writing on top of everybody's because I was looking at mine, which is blank. And I told them, okay, well, I messed up there. If I erase it, it's going to erase all y'all's too. So we're going to try this again.
And this automatically pops up on their screen?
Yes. So as soon as I shared it with them, I gave them the link. They got their own particular screen. And if you see, it says, see if I can view it. This says view Laurelyn. So it automatically came in there. She didn't even have to put her name. Board, they had to put their name. And it gave her a number too. So
that's really cool.
Like this, it might be fun to try. And at least we can, we know there's several out there, but the fact of being able to see live might help with that engagement if they know someone's watching them. No problem. Well, so I think that might be good. So you think, because we could do that in a warm up, we could do that in the, we do part of the lesson. So I'm going to look there. That's kind of my thoughts. I wanted to see what you thought of that.
That was awesome.
Let's see. I want to go ahead and go on to the next one because I think most of the other stuff is just the planning that we do.
Yeah.
Point 3 was knowledge of students. Now this, I know we know our students pretty well and we get to know them, but with the virtual piece, I noticed it says all lessons to students' prior knowledge, experiences, future learning, opportunities for students to utilize their individual learning patterns, habits, and needs. So that was the auditory, visual, kinesthetic, so maybe some videos and stuff. I think we added that last time, but what do you think would help the most, like as far as engagement for the virtual kids? Do you think the videos or having, just the auditory part, like the reading of the directions? What comes to mind for you on this part?
For the, let's see, I guess.
Because here's the difference is from here to here, you're adding an opportunity for students to individualize learning.
Yeah. And then the other one, opportunities to needs to achieve high levels of academic. Like what would come to mind to help the kids that are at home specifically?
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, do you think that I mean, it's hard to know when they're on the other side of the screen if they're not paying attention. My thought was maybe if they're not paying attention, they can go back and listen to directions again. I know some of them said they don't want to go back and watch the whole Google Meets.
Yeah. You know, and that's honestly like our algebra, how we create like a little video lesson and it just goes over the notes with them again.
Yeah.
And then I think we're gonna start doing that in 8th grade. I think Danny's gonna start making like Loom videos, like how we do it in 9th grade.
Oh, that's awesome! I would love to be able to do that in 7th grade as well.
Yeah.
So y'all already have that piece. I think
Yeah,
you're right.
Algebra. Yeah, it was. At first, I was a little bit of against it because of like how long it takes to make those videos if you do them all the time. But I do think that they're more beneficial for having the students watch the whole Meets because they're not going to. They're not going to sit there and watch the whole Google Meets. And then if you post a video of you specifically teaching it, I feel like that as a teacher, they just like you're their teacher, they feel more comfortable listening to you versus like if you just found like a YouTube video and posted that, you know?
Right.